Hello and welcome to RK Talks, where we discuss various aspects relating to business and entrepreneurship. So today in this video, we will be discussing about a corporate or a company form of business entity. So what do you mean by a company? The provisions relating to company are defined in the Companies Act 2013. A company is to be separately incorporated. It has a separate legal existence which is distant from the members or the people who incorporate it. The owners are the subscribers or the members, whereas the management are the board of directors. The owners appoint the directors of the company which take care of the day-to-day management of the company. So let's discuss more about the liability of the members. This phenomenon, known as a corporate will, was discussed at length and which was held in a leading case law which formed the basis of most of the corporate laws in India. So let's have a look at this case law. The name of the case law is Solomon versus Solomon and Company Limited. So what happened in this case is that a proprietor, let's say for example Raj Kapadia, a proprietor floated a company in the name of RK Talks Private Limited. The corporate entity comprised of the proprietor, that is Raj Kapadia, and his family members, say for example his spouse and kids. So in total, 7 members formed the corporate entity RK Talks Private Limited to carry on the same business which was run by the proprietor Raj Kapadia. The company issued shares and debentures to Raj Kapadia and his family members. So, $20,000 of funds were raised by the company in exchange of shares and debentures, majority of which were issued to Raj Kapadia, and his family members got a few as a token amount. What are the debentures? So, debentures are debt instruments. So, the company raises funds by way of issuing debentures. So what the company does is that it secures its assets, and against that security the company raises funds and issues debentures as debt instruments. So debentures in a way become the secured debt of the company, and the debenture holders are the secured creditors. So in an event if the company goes for liquidation, then the secured creditors are given priority over the other unsecured creditors and the trade payables of the company, which is exactly what happened. Regardless of all the efforts of the proprietor, RK Talks Private Limited never really took off in business, and eventually it had to be liquidated. The unsecured creditors of the company made a claim before the authorities that the company RK Talks Private Limited was merely a sham. It comprised of the proprietor, it carried on the business of the proprietor, and therefore it should not be given a separate legal entity. The unsecured creditors also told that as it was in the process of winding up, the secured debentures should not get a priority, and the unsecured creditors who have suffered should get a priority over the secured creditors, which were the debentures, which were in fact issued to the proprietor itself. Finally, at the appeal stage, the court of law held that this claim of unsecured creditors could not be allowed in the court of law, regardless of the fact that the entity, the company RK Talks Private Limited, comprised of the proprietor and his family members, and also the fact that the debentures were in fact issued to the proprietor itself. The company would be getting a separate legal entity and a separate legal recognition in the eyes of the law. It cannot be considered as an entity which is the same as its proprietor. Therefore, this claim of the unsecured creditors was not allowed in the court of law. This went on to become a leading case law for corporate laws, Solomon versus Solomon and Company Limited. This formed the basis of corporate laws, and the fact that it would get a separate legal entity, this came to be known. This phenomenon came to be known as the corporate veil of the company. The major benefit of incorporating a company is a corporate veil. As we have just discussed, in most of the situation, the corporate veil does hold true. It is lifted in some cases. For example, if the company is acting as an agent of an enemy country, that is, if it is an agent of a nation with which India does not have a favorable trade relation or is considered as an alien enemy, then that corporate veil is lifted and it is seen that who actually controls the company or who is the owner. Another instance where this corporate veil is lifted is if the company is formed with a fraudulent intention. So as we can see, those instances where corporate veil is lifted are very rare and very far in between. In most of the other cases, the corporate veil is available as a protection. So along with limited liability, this is another major advantage of a limited company. So what are the various forms of a company which are existent in India? There can be a private limited company which can be formed by 2 or more members. There can be a public limited company with 7 or more members. There can be a Section 8 company, which is a not-for-profit company. If you have objects which are charitable in nature, which do not have a business objective, then you can form a Section 8 company. There are Nidhi companies or producer companies. There are companies which are limited and companies which are unlimited. There is a provision of a OPC or a one-person company. We have discussed about a one-person company exclusively in another video. The link is there in the description. You can check it out. There is also a company limited by shares or a company limited by guarantee. What do you mean by company limited by shares? If a company is incorporated, say with this share capital of rupees 1 lakh subdivided into 10,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each. So the members of the company would be liable only to the extent of 10,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each, which is equal to 1 lakh. The members cannot be made liable for more than that amount. Similarly, if a company is limited by guarantee, suppose a company is incorporated with a guarantee amount of rupees 10,000, then the members can only be made liable up to rupees 10,000 and not more than that. So how do we incorporate a private limited company? That has also undergone very major changes in recent times. There used to be a time when a private limited company used to require so many number of forms and compliances. For example, you first needed a digital signature. There was a form for that. Then you needed a DIN number. DIN number is a director identity number, director identification number, with which the person associated with the company are identified. So to obtain DIN number, there was another form. Then there was a form for name approval of the company. Once the name was approved, you had to file another form for incorporation of the company. Then yet another form for directors. Who would be the directors? So to inform that, there was yet another form. Then there was yet another form for registered office of the company. Once it was done, incorporation was done, you had to file multiple forms for obtaining PAN and TAN of the company. If there were other registrations to be obtained, for example, goods and services tax or indirect taxes, then there were other forms to be filed. There were more forms to be filed for a bank account. So, as you can imagine, कितने forms हुए? देखा किसी ने गिना? And the businesses would be like, but all of that has changed and undergone a severe change in recent times. Things have become better. So many different forms and compliances have been integrated into a single compliance. Now, with a single compliance, you can obtain not just the incorporation of the company, but you can also obtain the PAN number, the DIN number, name approval, memorandum articles of association, as I said, PAN, TAN, and there is also an option to open your bank account with a single window clearance. So that compliance has now, instead of so many different forms which we talked about, there is a single window clearance by which your company will be up and running. It will have a SIN number, which is a separate corporate identity number, DIN, your memorandum, articles of association, directors details, registered office, PAN, TAN, registrations, everything will be obtained through a single window clearance, and your company will be up and running in a matter of few days instead of weeks and months which it used to take. This is a major initiative also which the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has taken, which improved the rating of ease of doing business of India from 130, 140 to 63 in 2020. So as you can see, incorporating a private limited company is become easier in recent days. We will discuss more and more aspects of a private limited company in India, of how to incorporate, how to get it running. There are many aspects as well which we will discuss in coming videos. So do stay tuned. Lots and lots more is coming. Stay tuned to RK Talks. Please do subscribe, like and comment with your views, your review to the content. Also let me know what specific aspects, if any, which you want me to take. Do stay tuned. Take care. Bye for now.